Hi guys, back outdoors again. It's been really shitty weather, so I haven't been able to go outside and make a video for a few days. Um, yeah, the usual setup. Yeah, I know the content hasn't been very upbeat recently. Really happy to get my second interview done with my mate. Hopefully see him tomorrow. Actually, he's playing in Fibber McGee's in Dublin 1, so hopefully see him there. I want to just kind of touch on here was I guess like being a young person in Ireland. It's more of a home video now. I guess being a mentally unwell person and physically in Ireland, it's not going to be a shit all over Ireland parade, you know. Like that's why I post a lot of videos advertising the good spots, showing the good side of it, you know. But no, it is difficult. And like people say, like a very throwaway comment that people say is, "Oh, shut up! You know, you have it easy. There's people elsewhere in the world who have it much harder than you." So then that automatically just means that your problems don't matter, and then that means you're invalidated. And clearly, the attitude that people have isn't working in a lot of ways. You know, like I can only speak as a person from Ireland because that's where I'm from. That's all I know. But whenever I go abroad, and this is only my own observation and also what I've been told, younger people just seem a lot happier abroad. They're a lot more confident as well, a lot more confident. So we're obviously doing something arseways over here. Like, I know people are mad into their statistics, but the stats don't boast very highly for us at all. Just he's having a little sniff around. Good boy. Yeah. Good lad. What you smelling? Good boy. What you smelling? Oh, he's onto something. What's that? Oh, you're onto something, aren't you? Oh. Come on, Alf. On the trail. Must be part bloodhound. Yeah, good lad. But just kind of getting back to the video at hand. I was just stand and admire Alf, you know, who wouldn't? But the point I was making there was, when I go over to see my cousin in Holland, and I haven't been in a while, but being in Austria, meeting students that are from like Spain, and being in Spain only recently as well, they're a lot more at ease with themselves. That's something I've noticed. They're a lot more comfortable in life. I don't know what it is. Don't know if you've noticed it as well. Obviously something's going wrong because everyone's moving abroad. Just a moped coming up the road. There we go. But in a lot of places you go that used to have a bit of national pride, I know that's a taboo word, but I don't mean it that way. I mean, like, you know, a sense of your culture and identity. A lot of them just being eradicated. Like, they're gone now. You know, a lot of places are knocked down, gotten rid of. They can't stay open because the rent is too high. Places are getting knocked down just to make apartments and hotels. Like, my mum goes through Dublin and can't recognise it, and she used to love going into Dublin. There's a channel I want to give a mention to, Bog Trotter Ireland. He does a lot of really good videos where he goes into some of the gnarliest places in Dublin and just, you know, shows you how bad it has gotten, because we don't seem to realise it. I saw an interesting stat where for some ailment or another, you know, so like, say if you might have a sprained ankle to you know, you might have a brain tumour, let's say, but regardless of what it might be, in a country like Ireland we should expect great healthcare, shouldn't we? I think we should. We have 900,000 people on a waiting list for some ailment or another. Like, that's a fifth of the population that are on a waiting list that aren't seeing people. Like, and like, recently I would have had so much dealings with doctors. I've had to go up and down because I've got not just fucking mental shit but also physical shit as well. Quite literally, irritable bowel syndrome. A lot of fun. As I said, I won't go into detail because it's fucking disgusting. It's embarrassing though, you know. Gives me a lot of discomfort. But you think to yourself, you go into the doctor and they'll just, you know, they'll put you at ease, they'll deal with you, make you happy. They don't. It's basically tell you to shut up and get on with it. We have a very bad healthcare system. It doesn't need to be like that. We clearly have intelligent people. Look how many doctors and nurses are going abroad. We're known around the world for, like the Irish for nurses and police and all that. Yet I think I saw something where there's more people, more recruits in Australia of Irish descent than Irish police. So what's that tell you? You just don't get fucking appreciated over here. And every job, I can safely say, from, you know, dishwasher to fucking pharmaceutical grade, I haven't been given the right training. I'm just expected to get on with it, and maybe that's all around the world, I don't know. But it certainly doesn't look very good, does it? And it's fucking annoying. Being autistic, like, I do find it difficult, and I'm only learning to accept that I'm allowed to say, I find this difficult, can I have a bit of help please? I do need a bit more help. But if I'm not shown how to do something correctly, that really throws me off. And then one person comes in and says, no, do it this way. And clearly people are getting fed up. You know, you can't blame young people for going abroad. It seems like you're only appreciated as an Irish person when you go abroad. We're an educated bunch. We have a lot of people who are very well educated. It seems like every expert you speak to, like whenever you watch, say, the BBC or ITV, English television, or you watch Australian news or American news, the person either is fully Irish or has an Irish surname. But that doesn't get appreciated in the fucking country itself, from what I can see. Which brings me on to something else. Like, when we actually just moved down here to Wexford, and we had open book exams. It was unprecedented times, as they kept saying. But you had open book exams, so you're expected to give more detail, you know, research articles, and a lot of articles you couldn't find anyway. Like, there was some subject matter that I really just couldn't find any information on. But you're expected to just shut up and look it up and get whatever info you can. And you learned it's not going to change. Come on, Alf, good boy. Like, you learn to yourself, it's put up or shut up. He walks all over the shop. Yeah. Sniffing all over the place. Like, I got in trouble for plagiarism with a particular lab report I was doing, or kind of like, it was like a quiz, you know, but you were able to do your own research, but a lot of the topics were wasn't an awful lot of material on them, put it that way. So whatever articles I found, I just used them, you know, and I rewrote them in my own words, but it's science, so, you know, you're using very technical language, so how much fucking rewording can you do? I gave citations, which you're supposed to do, but it came up as there's this plagiarism tool called RCund, as I call it. When that popped up, you were like, oh, here we fucking go, you know, you've been done for something again. But it was a pain in the hole to have that, because that meant your work was seen as not your own. I'm getting sidetracked here, but the lecturer was also on the board of some anti-plagiarism committee or something like that, and she contacted me saying this is a very serious allegation, and I got really annoyed, and I was like, I'm up to my fucking oxters here, like at my wit's end, whatever you want to use, but trying to give the best report that I can. And I said to her, I know, yeah, that is the site I got it from, you're right, because I did my research and that's what I thought you wanted. Now, in fairness to her, she actually said, okay, I appreciate you challenging me on that and not just taking it as, okay, yeah, okay. Wasn't rude or anything, but I said to her, look, I think it's a bit unfair. Like, I was doing my own research. I spent ages researching articles that I couldn't find any information on it, the specific topic, you know. We were doing polymerase chain reaction, PCR, DNA fragments and all that sort of genetic testing. This is interesting, you know. I find it very fascinating. But she said something interesting to me that kind of stuck with me, and that was, she said that when she taught in Australia, Canada, and where else? It was Austria or Holland or somewhere in mainland Europe. She said Irish students are a lot more, you know, apathetic about everything. They don't question stuff, they don't challenge stuff as much. Now, I think a part of that is in our nature. Just we don't like making a fuss. I think it's kind of like a cardinal sin, you know, the 7 deadly sins, but pride is one we seem to have taken. Like, you ever see someone and you just think they're just confident, but in Ireland we like to say they're an arsehole. And you're there kind of going, we have to have some fucking pride. I think it's a very negative aspect of our personalities. And I think young people are trying to be more confident and they're just being shot down. You know, like, get over yourself. Why are you so arrogant? Whereas in places like Australia, America, Canada, mainland Europe, they are taught you are the future. You know, you guys are brilliant. You know, you're going to make the place great. In Ireland, it's like, oh, you're a lazy young fella. You're a worthless, lazy piece of shit. Back in our day, like, it was much more difficult. And here you are complaining and you have the world at your feet, you know. You're ungrateful, you're spoiled. When you look at the statistics, it's not much better. Everything has gone up in price. Wages have basically stayed the same. You know, they haven't kept up with inflation. No one will fucking hire you. Like, I've been in, you want to say, like, I didn't work hard. I worked in jobs where the only other people working with me were refugees from Syria. And I liked them, you know. I'm not here to be all this anti-immigrant shite. I think take people as they come, you know. And I'm not just saying that to fit in. I think it's very easy to go, it's them and us. But I think it's our own people fucking selling us out. Which we should be more angry at, you know. And I've seen that myself, doing the Wexford local development as well. There was a young fella, Yazan, lovely fella, you know. Really appreciative, says Ireland have welcomed him in. He feels very warm and welcomed here, hasn't complained at all. So take people as they come would be my advice. But I worked in a hotel here, and what did they do? They didn't hire me and my brother back. They hired, the Ukraine war was going on, so more people were fleeing over here, and as we tend to do in Ireland, we put other people before our own, which is our own fault, isn't it? But I guess if they're offered a job and they're offered refuge, they're going to take it. I think you could pay them something like the Abdul, the lad I worked with in the Upton court. I think he was being paid something like $9.50. I was getting no, not even that. I think it was €9 full stop, and I was getting like €11. Which is okay, you know, but you can see where. Realise I've just said 9/11. With the Syrian lad, not good. Like 10.50 or 11 I was making, you know. But yeah, I wasn't brought back until they needed someone, whereas they'd had a lot of and this is their own fault, like bringing in people who didn't even speak English, some of them. So if you had any questions, you couldn't actually say, I'd like it done this way. You got people who don't understand the culture, you know, because they're just being brought in, moved around, they don't get it, and that's not their fault, but, you know, it's not good for anyone. And everyone being fast-tracked, you know, to get healthcare when there's Irish people who need it. But we do have a tendency of going shinier and new was better, and our own are like pale and stale, as our own government fucking say. They can claim to be proud to be Irish as much as they want. Actions speak louder than words, and their actions certainly haven't shown that they're proud, put it that way. But as you say, I've worked with a good few foreign people who are fine, no issue with them. Like on construction sites, majority of people are from Eastern Europe. Actually worked with more Romanian lads than Polish lads. I would have expected a lot more Polish lads, but majority of people I worked with were Romanian. And I love Romanians. I've got good Romanian friends, so I only know a few. La Multiani, Multamesc, Maria, Maria. Alfie loves that song. He was looking up at me there, you know, Dragoste Dente. But no, I've no issue with them. And like that's a problem both ways, because there are a lot of Irish people as well that are lazy. I'm just gonna say it, you know. There's ones that have higher standards for themselves. No problem with that. You deserve to have higher standards. But there's a lot that'll say, I'm not doing that. You know, I'm way above that. You see what my poor brother had to do, like cleaning out fucking shitters, like public toilets. Poor boy. Like, if you want to say we're scared of a bit of work and we're not mentally ill, we're just lazy, look at the fucking jobs we've done. No human in their right mind would do them, and we weren't in our right mind, which I guess makes sense. But I'm getting sidetracked again. That lecturer saying that to me was very interesting. I was kind of like, the Irish people that have pride in their degree then, like, she said they're just afraid to speak up, you know, they don't want to make a fuss, they don't want to make a scene. I was like, I wasn't making a scene. The guy said, thanks for explaining it. She said, no problem. Here's what I'm looking for in the future. So don't do what you did there, but I understand now where you were coming from. I was like, thank you for explaining it, no problem. Which is another point. You don't have to get thick with people, and you're actually going to get more places if you query something, but you go like, okay, sorry, what did I do wrong? Can you explain that to me? Then they explain, and you learn from that. And it worked out in my favour, because I never got done for it again. But yeah, it's... Remember another lecturer said to us, like, unfortunately we've got a large group this year. You're like, so basically what you're saying is you have to actually put in the effort because more people are succeeding and not dropping out. That's basically what you're saying. Normally more people would have dropped out by this stage. So you're admitting that you have more work to do now. I know, like, you're not saying it outright, but that's basically what you are saying. We have to cater for more people, and we don't want to do that. The lecturers just seem to have a big lack of sympathy, is how I'd say it. You know, and I wasn't being like this, typical millennial Gen Z type that, oh, everything's so hard and I can't do it. I did it. I fucking did it, And I did it while working, while trying to help out my sick mother and all that. So, you can't say to me that I didn't try. But you feel like, what's the point at the end of it? Because going to the workplace and there's the same type of mistakes, the same lack of training, the same bullshit, basically. Everything costs a fortune, as I say. There's no real incentive to do anything, really. Like people who are on welfare in Ireland and in the UK, I think we've unfortunately become synonymous with being welfare states. But they can say what they want, people do better from it. They definitely benefit from it, and they've no fucking desire to work. They'll stay on the welfare as long as they can. And people from abroad are copping onto this and going, great, let's go to Ireland. We don't have to work. We'll be handed medical cards on arrival. We'll be handed the dole, job seekers. But as I say, a lot of people I've worked with are foreign, and they're the ones doing the menial jobs. Without them, who the fuck do you have? So I think it's a lot of everything. I worked with a Croatian girl, worked with an Indian lad. I've worked with a few Indian lads actually, and they're very eager to work. A lot of them in the service industry, and the tech industry, but they work in the meantime. I've worked with Spanish people. I'm a big fan of the Spaniards. They're a good laugh. They're very easygoing people. I've worked with a couple of Brazilians as well, also very easygoing for the most part. Portuguese lad and a few Italian lads. Yeah, mostly foreigners I've worked with. Worked with a mad Tunisian fella. He was a lot of fun. He was a good laugh. Argentinian. So yeah. And then a few Nigerian girls. It was actually weird when I was a water sampler. It seemed like all the other people there were Nigerian women, and I was the only white fella doing it. I was the only white person doing it. But yeah, all the other people doing it were Nigerian women. Thought this was a little bit strange. I kind of felt out of place, but I got an insight into Nigerian culture. We were chatting and having a laugh. It was a funny one. I was a Romanian labourer and a Nigerian female water sampler. Just when oh yeah, I was also a Syrian dishwasher. This is weird, but it is good. When you do work with a majority of people who are from a different culture, I mean, it can be good and it can be bad. But you kind of get an insight into them, and you get an appreciation for a different perspective. I want to put it that way. It's very easy to get all, the immigrants are stealing our jobs and all this shit, but let's look at the reality of it. The people in power in our country are after selling us out. they've made it a very bleak looking future for us. That's why I post all the beautiful parts of Ireland, like in Wexford and Wicklow. I go to all these places in Dublin, Wexford, Wicklow as well. I want to advertise the good stuff about Ireland, because I think as a whole we're a good bunch of people. We are, and we're not unwelcoming. There's only a small minority that are unwelcoming. Like, and I've met foreign people in work and spoken to them who said that they have experienced racism. And sure, like my uncle is Pakistani, you know, I've family from Holland as well. Got a lot of foreign influence. So it's not as if I haven't experienced it and talked to people from different walks of life. Spoken to a lot of them. And a lot of them are fine, you know. Spoken to a good few English people. Yous aren't all bad. In fact, most of the English people I've spoken to have been nothing but pleasant. Met a lot of them in Benidorm, and they look rough and ready, but they were all very pleasant. Yeah, so it's kind of like, it's a lot deeper than what people are making it out to be, you know. Right there. Good boy, sorry. I guess you could say the grass is always greener. I mean, it's pretty green around there, to be fair. But I've finally admitted my problems and my issues, and I've asked for a bit of help getting employment, and I'm going out to interviews, I'm doing courses, not getting much back, you know. And I'm not doing what I did before, because I get very unwell. I piled on the weight, I got very unhealthy, drank a good bit as well. Stress is a killer, so I'm not fucking doing that again. You can't avoid stress, but you can certainly limit it. That's what I'm going to try and do. I hope Ireland improves, because it'd be sad to... I plan on going abroad in the future, but seeking work, because I can't get anything here. I think I've done my time with minimum wage work, if I'm being honest. I know I'm not a snob, but I've done it. I've worked since I was 14, 15. I think it's time to move up in the world, don't you? Guys, I wish you all well, and if you're Irish, let me know what you think of the current state of affairs. Let me know how you feel if you're thinking of going abroad, and if so, why that is. And I'll see you in the next one. Thanks, guys.